Right now, directly beneath your feet, something is moving. You can't hear it, you can't see it, but there is this massive, invisible entity operating right beneath us, literally at this very moment. It doesn't have a brain, no heart, no eyes, but oh man, make no mistake, it is very much alive. And it hasn't just been surviving either. It's been thriving. It's been secretly running this planet for 450 million years. To put that into perspective, this quiet, unseen operator has been hard at work since way, way before the dinosaurs ever took their first steps. It's ancient, it's incredibly vast, and honestly, until very recently, we had absolutely no idea just how massive it truly was. Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're unpacking a massive scientific breakthrough and exploring a newly mapped, absolutely mind-boggling network that scientists have finally brought into the light. So let's dive right into the secret underground highway beneath your feet.
Section 1. What is it? Unmasking the organism.
So what's really wild here is the sheer microscopic scale of what we're talking about. We are looking at arbuscular mycorrhizal fungi, or AM fungi for short. They're mostly invisible and, frankly, completely overlooked by most of us. These fungi are made up of hyphae, these beautiful, kind of alien-looking microscopic threads. And these filaments push out and explore the deep soil that regular plant roots simply can't reach on their own. Now, here is the ancient, perfect deal that makes this whole thing work. It's just a brilliant biological partnership. The fungi branch out into the deepest parts of the dirt to soak up water and essential nutrients, which they then hand straight over to the plants. And in return, the plants pay the fungi back with the sugars and fats they need to survive. It's a flawless trade, a deal between fungi and plants that has been running without a single hiccup for nearly 500 million years. You know, we tend to look around at a peaceful forest or a wild meadow and think, well, that's the whole picture. But the forest above ground, that's just the visible world. The real world, the true life support system keeping everything alive, is actually entirely underground. It's this glowing, pulsing network connecting every single root to every other root across entire landscapes.
Section 2. The discovery. Mapping the hidden world.
So how do you even begin to map something so vast and completely invisible? Well, a global team of researchers launched a pretty staggering scientific effort. They went out and collected data from over 16,000 soil cores. And they didn't just dig up their backyards, right? They pulled samples from literally every corner of the planet. Deserts, freezing tundra, dense rainforests, wild grasslands, every terrain, every climate. Then, they brought all this dirt back to the lab and ran it through advanced machine learning and robotic imaging to estimate the density of AM fungal networks across every single square kilometer of land on Earth. And when that data finally came back and populated their screens, the researchers were staring at this jaw-dropping number: 110 quadrillion kilometers. Just take a second to look at all those zeros. Really let that massive scale sink in. Honestly, it's almost impossible for the human brain to comprehend a number like 11 quadrillion. So think about it like this. If you were to take these microscopic threads we've been talking about and stretch them end to end, they would reach all the way to the sun and back. Not once, but nearly 1 billion times. That is the size of the hidden system holding our world together. Absolutely wild.
Section 3. Tearing up the Internet of Life.
Now, the researchers found something fascinating, but honestly deeply concerning, when they looked at where these networks are actually concentrated. It turns out that nearly half, around 40%, of this entire hidden network's biomass lives specifically beneath wild, golden grasslands. And here's why that builds into a really urgent threat. Grasslands are actually among the least protected ecosystems on our planet. Right now, they're being bulldozed and converted into farmland 4 times faster than forests are being cleared. And according to the data, 95% of the most important fungal hotspots on Earth exist completely outside of any protected areas. They are totally vulnerable. And the consequences of that vulnerability are pretty stark. When a wild ecosystem gets plowed over and converted to farmland, it loses its full fungal density. It drops to exactly half. Every field that gets aggressively plowed, every wild grassland converted, and every synthetic chemical poured into the dirt literally halves the density of an underground network that took 450 million years to build. We are, quite literally, tearing up the Internet of Life.
Section 4. The Ultimate Climate Solution. A Biological Engine.
Why is this such a big deal? Well, look at this number. 4 billion tons. These ancient fungal networks aren't just feeding plants down there. They're actually pulling 4 billion tons of carbon dioxide out of the atmosphere and locking it deep into the soil every single year. They are out there slowing climate change down on a massive planetary scale.
And, this realization is perhaps the most mind-bending part of the whole study. Over the last decade, humanity has spent billions upon billions of dollars trying to invent expensive, clunky, industrial carbon capture technology to suck carbon out of the air. Meanwhile, the perfect answer was already right beneath our feet, a free, highly efficient, completely natural biological engine that's been doing exactly that for 450 million years.
Section 5. A choice to stop. Reconsidering our path. So, the next time you walk through a forest, cross a field, or even just step out onto your front lawn, know this. Beneath your feet is a silent living network. It's older than the dinosaurs. It feeds trees, carries water, moves carbon, and literally keeps this planet breathing. And it's done all of this for 500 million years without ever asking for a single thing in return. It expected nothing. It just simply kept going. And the really haunting realization from this massive global study is just how close we came to the edge. We bulldozed it, we poured chemicals on it, we dug it all up. We almost destroyed the whole thing without ever even knowing it was there.
But, ignorance just isn't an excuse anymore. For the first time in human history, we have a real, high-resolution map of every hotspot, every network, every single thread of this underground system holding our world together. We finally see exactly what we are destroying. So the only question left is, will we choose to stop? Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer.